And we're back. Okay, this is the Drainers and Sires puzzle that I was having problems running into. So we just had to sort of refresh our mind. So we're going to essentially do a reset and then try to go through the process again. Um, as a reminder, digits cannot repeat in cells and values for killer cages and sum to the given clue. There are two types of vampire cells, drainers and sires. Each type appears exactly once. So each type of drainer cells appears once in every row, column, and box. So does every sire. The digits 1 through 9 appears once each among drainers and once each among sires. Vampire cells cannot touch, not even diagonally, and they cannot consume the same prey. A drainer cell bites a neighboring cell, orthogonally or diagonally adjacent. The drainer's value equals the sum of its digits plus the digit in the prey cell. The prey's value is 0. A sire cell bites a neighboring cell. The sire and the prey's values are both equal to half the sum of their digits. Okay, let's continue. Let's just basically reset. This has to be, these are all drained. So these all have to be drained. This is drained by one of these three. This is drained by obviously one of these six. This is drained by one of these three. To get a to get a 0.5, you need to have essentially be either a sire or the prey of a sire. So one of these is going to be sire or prey of a sire. That means, oh, also 47 can never add up with, even with even if you have one drainer at least there, which we are guaranteed. We know there's one drainer here. Can you ever have it with a sire here or a prey cell? And I think the answer to that is no. Um, because you need at least 6 digits worth of value for 47, right? You have 789 and 689. And the thing is, if you had a sire's value, you would only have the value of 1, essentially. You would have 8.5 at most. Um, so the sires and the praise values are going to be from 1.5 to 8.5 in value at all times. So a sire's value is not going to be greater than its own, than 9, which is the maximum you could have. And you need guaranteed, even if you have 8.5, 9, and I don't know, say 7, you have the 8 going to 8.5, you have 9 and 7. That's not going to be enough because you're going to only have 2 values here if that's the case. So it must have 2 drainers. So this must be a drainer, which means none of these can be vampires. So this has to be the drainer here, which means this can't be a vampire. So one of these two is the prey and the vampire or the sire. This can't be either. So one of these is the prey, one of these is the vampire. Right, it can't be both of them here in the same, well, it can't be anyways, this one. It could have been prey potentially, but it can't be both of these because they equal, the sum of them add up to a something 0.5, which means one of them is 0.5 and the other one has to be a solid number. And if they were both prey and sire, they would both, it would equal the whole number. So one of these is prey, one of these is sire. You can't have drainer here, you can't have drainer here. Where is the drainer in column 2? We know there's a drainer draining this. So again, drains this, drains this, this drains this. There we go. This must drain this because there's no other place for the drainer in row 7. So this is drainer, which means this cannot be the sire. It's the prey. What did we make green? Yeah, I think green was the prey. Maybe not, but anyways, we're gonna make the pinks the sires essentially here. I think it was green was the sire. Okay, let's make the green, okay, just for consistency's sake. So this was preyed upon. These cannot be vampires. This cannot be vampire because we have two vampires already in that column. One of these is a vampire. This is going to be half value. So to add up to 47, it's going to need the value of 689 and 789 because that's the most you can have. To add up to 11.5, you cannot have. If you had 6 here, that guarantees this is 789 triplet, which means this is 4 or 5 at most add together. So that's 4.5 plus 6, which is 10.5, which is too small for 11.5. So this can't be 6, this has to be 7, which forces this to be a 689 triplet, which means this is a 789 triplet to add up to 47, right? With all these values. This has to be a 4-5 pair. That leaves the rest as 1, 2, and 3. You have a 789 triplet in this killer cage, so there cannot be a repeat in the cage. So this must be 6, which means neither of these can be 6. This is an 8-9 pair, which eliminates 8 and 9 in the rest of the column. So this is 7, which means that can't be 7. This is 8 or 9. This is a 4-5 pair. This adds up to, these are both 4.5 in value. These three, the rest of column 2 is 1 through 6. Can you ever have a 6? This is 4.5 in value. This is 1.5. Okay, so this is not the prey of this, and then there are no more vampires around it. So this cannot be anything. This has no effect, is not affected by anything. These are never going to add up to 0.5, and we need a 0.5 in this cage because this is 4.5. So this has to be essentially a prey, which means it's preyed upon by one of these cells here. That means this is preyed upon by the sire cell that's here, because it cannot be. Oh, the sire cell could be the one here. No, it can't be because it's touching a vamp. It would be touching a drainer. So no, this cannot be the. That's the reason why. Okay, so the sire cell has to be one of these two, right? Because neither of these could be the sire cell because it would be touching the other vampire cell, which is not allowed. Okay. Yeah. So that's still fine. Can you ever have one that's not in this cage? This is 4.5, so the value of these 4 cells must equal what? 7.5? Yeah, 12 minus 4.5 is 7.5. We are guaranteed a 1, 1, 2 at least, so this is at least 4. That's 8.5, so this is 3.5 at most. Okay. If you have a 6 here, this is 1 and 1 at minimum. That's 8. And that's already greater than 4.5. So this can't be 6. Can this ever be 5? 5, 1, 1 is 7. So that's 11.5. That cannot be 0.5. Okay, so 4 is possible here. 4 cannot be here because, well, it can't be 4 anyways. So this has to be 1, 2, or 3 because we've shown 6 and 1 and 2 doesn't work. That's 12. This is 4.5. This is 4.5. 4, 1, and 1 is 6. The problem is 2 and 3 gives a sire prey value of 2.5. 2.5 plus 4.5 is 7, plus 6 is too large. So this cannot be 4. What are the potential values here? 3. If this is 6, it could be paired with 1. To give 3.5, but then this would be a value of 2 and 3. So it's 5, 3.5, and 4.5, which is too large. That's 8 already, and then 13. So this can never be 6. Can there ever be a 1 or 2 that's not in the sire cell or one of these two cells in the cage? So say you have a 1 outside. That would mean it's 2, 3 at minimum. So this is 2, 3, that's 5. And this would have to be 4, 5 as a sire drainer, which is too large. That would be 4.5 plus 4.5 plus 5 at least, which is too large. So 1 cannot be outside. Same with 2. 2 outside means this is 1, 3. That's a 1. That's 4, 4.5, 8.5, and then another 4.5, which is too large. So none of these outside the drainer can be 1 or 2. This can't be 4 or 5 here. Can you have 3? I think the answer to that is no also, right? If you have 3 outside, this is a 1, 2 pair. This has to be a 4, 5 pair here. Which means it's 4.5 in value. This is 4.5, this is 4.5, this is 1 and 2. That adds up to 12. But this drainer has also value of adding that, which means it's also 1 at least. So no, you can't have 3 outside either. So 6 cannot be here. 7 can't be here. This is a 6, 8, 9 triplet, which eliminates 6, 8, and 9 in the rest of column 1. So this has to be 1, 2, or 3. Therefore, this can't be 6 here. 6 has to be one of these two, which means 6 has to be one of these two here. So if none of these, so one of these is obviously the prey of a sire cell. And the other one cannot be the prey of another sire cell because we have a sire cell here. There's only going to be one sire cell in all of column 4, and neither of these can be prey of this one because this is prey already. So it must be prey of one of these. The other one can be prey of a drainer. If it's not, it's going to have a value of 4 already. So it has to be drained too, which means these two are the preys of sire and a drainer. This drainer drains this. If we try to have this as the sire or as a vampire, the vampires cannot touch each other. So these four have to be vampires. 2 out of these 4 are vampires. They cannot touch each other. So it could be here, 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 or here and here. If we tried to have this as a vampire, it's specifically a sire vampire, and it can only have a value of 3.5 at most. So this can never be 3.5 plus another digit. Well, if it's sire, the drainer cannot be there, so it can't be drainer. So this cannot be a vampire then. Which means where is the vampires? One of them's here, one of them has to be here. Therefore, none of these can be vampire. This can't be vampire, so this has to be the drainer vampire. So this drains this way. These can't be vampire because it's touching this one. We know there's a vampire here. This is not these two. This is not drained by this. This drains specifically this one. This sires that one. So these two are not attached to any vampire. Both of these, one of these is drained, one of these is sired. There's no access to another vampire here, so these are not touched. This is not touched. Since this can't be touched because none of this does something to this cell, and whatever vampires here does something to this cell. So this is not actually nothing's happening to it. So to have a 0.5, again, something has to be preyed upon and something has to be sired. So this is preyed upon. $34. To get 34 in value, what are the possibilities? 6, 7, 8.5, and 9 does not work. Or even, say we had 9, 8.5, 8.5, and 8. That could work, but the problem is you would have to have a sire and a prey. And we know there's only one potential vampire here. This is 0.5. This is at least 6.5 because this is 9 at most, right? This is 8.5 at most, so this is 7 at minimum. Therefore, this is 6.5 at most. This cannot be the sire. Neither of these can be. Technically, this could be. So you could have sire, prey. They could both be prey, I guess. So we're trying it without drainer, essentially, right? Is this actually touched by anything? Well, this is not a vampire. This is not a vampire. It must be a prey here. But if we try to have this as the drainer, so say this was the drainer, right? If this is the drainer, How do you have 8 and 9 together? I don't see it, right? This cannot have 1, 2, or 3. This is 4, 5, 7, 8, or 9 here. Um, uh, oh, was the bad assumption that I made this had to be 7, 8, and 9? No. One of these is a 7. You cannot have both 4 and 5 here. If both 4 and 5 were here, this doesn't work, right? This vampire cell doesn't work because it has to be... This is at least 4, so this is 3.5 at most. There's no 6 here. Okay. So one of the 4 or 5 has to be here. The other one has to be here. And the 4 or 5 must be one of these two because it cannot... If it's not one of these, this would have to be 7, 8, and 9 as a pair here. And one of them would have to be a prey of a sire that adds up to 7. Then that's obviously 7 plus another digit is going to be greater than 7. So one of these has to be 4 or 5. And to have a value of 8.5, 8.5, 8, and 9 is never going to work. Because you need to get a value of 8.5 as a sire or a prey, you have to have an 8 or a 9 there. So you can't have another so therefore this has to have a drainer. So the drainer has to be here. This cannot be drainer. This has to be a sire. So it's preying upon this one. Which means they add up to 7, right? 7 divided by 2 is 3.8. This is drained. And it cannot be 4 or 5 because we already have a 4 or 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quintuplet in the box. This is 2 or 3 to add up to 3 and 5. The rest of row 6 is 4 through 9. None of these can be vampires because it's next to a drainer. Therefore, to have a sire here, you have to have a sire here to prey upon this prey. Therefore, there are no vampires there. There are no vampires in the rest of... there's never gonna be a vampire in the middle of any box because it will always be touching another vampire then. Well, where are the remaining vampires in column 5? This has to be 1, and it cannot be drainer, so it's sire, so this must be a drainer there. Can we ever have this be 3 and 4? If this is 3 and 4, obviously neither of these are 3. This becomes a 3 here. This cannot be 4. The 5 has to be the sire, and it must be with 2 and 5. This is 2.5. 4.5. Maybe this was the problem. Huh. Yeah, I think this might have been the problem. How did I guarantee that this was... This seems to actually work, right? 2.5 and 4.5 is 7, plus 1 and 3, that means this is 1. Huh. How did I get 2 and 5 here? 2 and 5 also kind of works, right? Neither of these could be 2, so this is 2 here. Right, so this, whatever digit is here, has to be here. So this can't be 1. So 1 has to be one of these two. But 1 and 3 work. What if this is 2 and 5, this is obviously 2. This can't be 5. This is a 4 here. So we know we're missing a 4 or 5 from one of these. So this has to be not 1, 2, or 3. It's 4 or 5 here. I think that might have been my error. But I don't understand how I got to that point. Because 3 and 4 actually works fine, too. And I guess that's the solution. So if this is 2 and 5... you have 4 with either 1, 3, 1, 4 makes that 2.5, or 3, 4 makes this 3.5. So either way, though, I don't think this can ever be 3, right? Oh, maybe that was the problem. I made that 3, which made this 2.5. So that would force this to be 3. This would have to be a guaranteed 4, 1, 4, so that would be 2. And this would be too large. But I think that just disproves that this can't be 3. But I don't understand why... Oh, maybe I had this being 2. And then that gets disproven by 3, 4, right? So this has to be 2, 2. This has to be a 5 here. And it can't be with 4, it has to be with 2, and that's a contradiction. But that just shows this can't be 2, so this is 1. So how did I disprove this? Or how did I get all screwed up here? That means 1 can't be any of these. 1 has to be here. How did I, yeah. I don't know how I screwed that up. Wait. Yeah, no, this has to be 2.5. No, 3.5. Oh, that's the reason why. It has to be 3.5 here. That's 3.5, not 2.5. Okay, that's the problem. So this is still 3.5. 3.5 plus 4.5 is 8, plus 1 and 1. So this is still correct. Okay. Unfortunate. Oh well. This is going to be 3.5 no matter what. Because it can't be 2 and 3. Okay, so that was the problem. So this is still the same. That kind of sucks. Okay, this is 5, that's 2. This is 3, that's 2. It's still no different, unfortunately. That means this is a 1-4 pair. This can't be 4. This is a 3-4 pair here. This must drain from here. It cannot have a 2. So it must be at least, it's 1, 4, and 7, or 1, 3, and 8. So 1 has to be here. Which means... Yeah, because none of these can be drained by any drainer. These are not touched. One of these is a drainer. If these cannot be sire, prey of a sire, because the sire cannot be here. Where is the sire in row 8? It has to be here. Can't be here because one of these is a drainer. These can't be vampires because they're not touching. None of these can be vampires. So this has to be a drainer here. Because they would be touching. None of these can be vampires because they're... Okay. So none of these are drained. None of them are affected. None of them are prey of sire. This could be. This needs to drain something else, essentially, to get to 34. This is going to be a 0.5. So this must be a 0.5, and it cannot be a vampire, so it's prey. Well, it must be prey to a sire. This can't be sire, so this must be the sire it's prey to. None of these can be vampires because they would be touching it. Where is the drainer in row 2? Can't be here because the drainer in the box. Same here. This is drainer in the column, so this must be drainer here, which means this can't be vampire either. Oh, I think I see. Okay. Part of the problem is I forgot to take into account this sire is a sire of a prey. And this value doesn't have to be. That's probably where I messed up. Okay. So probably the rest of it's all still good. This has to be 2 and 4. It's drained. One of these is drained. So this must be 2, 4, which means this can't be 4 to add up to 6. So this is 1, 3, and 8, which makes this a 7. This can't be 8. This is 9, which makes that 8. So an 8 cannot be either of these. We have 4 through 9 remaining in column 4. This can't be 6 or 7. These digits cannot be 2 through 4. 5 has to be one of these. So if 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, 8 cannot be either of these. This is at least 6.5. This is at least 1.5. But to be 1.5, you need a 2 and a 2, 1 and a 2 in the sire and the prey, and they cannot be because the 2 in that column, or already in the prey. So this can never be 1.5. It's 2.5 at minimum. So therefore, this value is 6.5 plus 2.5, which is 9. So if we had either of these just by itself, none of them can be prey of a sire. But if we had any of them value by itself, it would be at least 4, which is not allowed. So both of these must be drained. So this must be drained. So this drains here. And this is drained by that. So this is a drainer, which means that's not a... Oh, well, we already knew that was a drainer anyways. So... Right. I think it's because I forgot that this sire also affects one of these cells. He could affect one of these 2 cells here. Right. Okay, so that's probably where we ran into problems. Okay. So again, if you have these 2 add up to at least... Okay, so these are both drained. This adds up to 15.5 with this. So this is 6.5, 7.5 at 8.5. Okay. So what does that mean? Oh, this is drainer, so this can't be drainer here. So nothing happens to that. This must be drainer then. And it drains here. Okay. This must be 5 digits adding up to 34. And they're unique, so it has to be 4, 5, 4, 6, 7, 8, and 9. That eliminates 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 in the rest of the box. So this can't be 4, 8, or 9, so it's 5. Which means 5 cannot be here. This is a 1, 3 pair. This then cannot be 2 again. So if this is 4, obviously none of the other sides can be 4. If this is 3, that forces this to be 4. And you can't have repeats in cage. So that would force this to be 5, which would force that to be 4. And you can't have a 4 in the sire cells. So where are the 2 and 4 in row 4? It must be a 2, 4 pair here, which eliminates 2 and 4 in the rest of the row, or the box. This then must be 8 or 9. And if it's 9, to add up to a 0.5, you can only add up to 5.5 because this is at least 6.5. And that would require 2 there, so this cannot be 9. Therefore, this is 8, which makes this 9, which makes that 8. 8 cannot be any of these cells. 8 cannot be any of these cells. This must be with 1, 3, 5, or 7. 7 and 8 add up to 15 divided by 2, which is 7.5. That would require 4.5 here, which is not possible because these are 6.5 at least. So it cannot be 7 or 5. This is 1 or 3. So this is all the same. Right? 8 with 1 or 3. So 8 and 3. 8 is one of these digits here. 8 and 3 is 5.5, so then this becomes 6 point. Right. This drains this. We know 3 in box 7 and box 8 must be in rows 8 and 9. That eliminates 3 from the rest of rows 8 and 9, so this has to be 3. Same with 4. 4 cannot be 4 has to be with the 2 here in box 8, and this is a 3, 4 pair here. So that means this is 3 and 4 here. So this has to be 6, 7, 8, and 9 as a triplet. And the rest, this is 3, 4. Can you ever not have a 9 here? That would force this to be 6 and 7, which is 13 divided by 2, 6.5 plus 8, which is not allowed because that doesn't add up to 15.5. So this is 3, 4, 6, 7, or 8 as possibilities here. This can't be 8 because of the 8 in the column. One of these is drained by this cell. These cells have to be not touched. Any of these cells could be touched. None of these could be vampire. So one of these two is a vampire. It's a 1 guaranteed. This can't be 8 here. These are not touched by anything. These all see these vampires, but these vampires already have other prey. Same with this. Same with that. Same with that. So these are all not touched either. Same with these two. Same with this. Any of these could be touched by vampires. Same with these. Same with any of these or these. Any of these could be touched by the vampires, but specifically this one. Okay, so 9 always has to be one of these three, so this can never be 9. Can this ever actually be 8 here? And this is draining that. If this is 8, well, what digits can this be? It could be 1, 3, 4, 5, 7, or 9. It's draining at least a 5 here, because 2 and 4 must add up to 6 for this cage to work. This must be 1, 3 to add up to 4, plus the 8 adds up to 12. So we're draining at least a 5. That means this can never be 9. It can't be 7 either. Right? Well, if we have 8 here, this is guaranteed to be 1, 2, and 4, but that eliminates all possibilities for this cell. So that doesn't work. So 8 can never be here. 8 has to be one of these two. That means neither of these can be 8. This is at least 5, so this is at most 10. You can't have 7 here, because 5 and 7 would require this to be 1, 2 pair, and this can't be 1 or 2. So that works. So can this ever be 7 anymore? It could be. 7, 8, and 9 is possible. If this is 7, this has to be 1 and 2. And that must drain a 5. Does that work? Maybe, I don't know. This would have to be 6 and 9 together then, if that's the case. That's 7.5. So this would be 1. And then you'd have a contradiction, because this would be 7, 1, and 2. So this cannot be 7. I think the same thing with 6, right? I mean, you could have 6 here. Okay, 6 here. This is 7, 8, and 9. So it could be 7 and 8 here. That's 7.5. Oh. Okay, we need an 8 or a 9 here. It can't be 6 and 7 here, because 8 has to be one of these. So because of that, this can't be 13. It cannot be 6.5 in value. So this can't be 9 in value here. If it's 7 in value, okay, it can't be 7, because that would force this to be 8.5 in value, and this is never 3.5 in value here. So this can't be 7, this is 8. Okay, so that's there. This has to add up to 0.5. It can't be 7, it's 6 and 9. That eliminates 6 in the rest of the box and the rest of the row. So this is 7.5, which forces this to be 4.5. So that's a 1, which means this can never be 1. That means 7 can never be here because that would force this to add up to 8, and we don't have a 1 available there. So this has to be 2, 4, 5, which means this can't be 5. That's 7. This is 5. This adds up to 10 without a 1, so it must be 2, 3, and 5. So this is 5, this is 3, and that's 2. 3 cannot be either of these. This becomes a 4, 7 pair. This can't be 5 either. This has to be a 5 as the only place for it. So this drains here, which means this is the drained. So this is 10, 10, 15. That adds up. This 2, 4 pair eliminates 4 in the rest of the row. So this is 3, which makes this 4. This can't be 4 in the same killer cage. So this is 5, which makes that 4. Remaining digits in row 8 are 1, 3, 6, and 9. What cannot be in the sire cage is 3 and 1, because one of these is a sire cage here, and it's either 1 or 4, but 4 is eliminated as a possibility, so it has to be 1. So this becomes a 6, 9 pair. That leaves 5 and 7 remaining in the sire cell here, and it can't be 7, so this is 5. Which means 7 has to be one of these two, which means this can't be 7 here. This can't be 5 because of the 5 in the column. This 2 eliminates 2 here, so it's 4 and 2. This 4 eliminates 4 here, so it's a 6, 7, 9 triplet. That forces this to be 4, 8 pair here. This can't be 6 as a drainer cell. This can't be 6 as a drainer cell. This can't be 5 as a drainer cell, because we already have a 5 as a drainer cell. That leaves 1, 3, and 4 remaining in the drainer cells. So I forgot that these could be essentially sire and prey, and they probably are, then they have to be. Because there's no combination of digits that actually works if this is not, right? This becomes a 3, 5 pair. This can't be 5. Okay. This can't be 3 because of the 3 in the box. We have 1, 6, 8. This 3 eliminates 3 here, so this is 1, which makes this 3. So these can't be 3. These are 1, 4 pair as drainer. Okay, this 1, 4 pair and this 1, 4 pair eliminates 1 and 4 in the rest of the row. So this can't be 1 or 4. This is 2 or 3. Well, we already knew that. This can't be 7, 8, or 9. And 4 cannot be in any of these cells because of the 1, 4 pair in rows 1 and 2. And this can't be 4 because of the 4 in the row. So where's the 4 in column 4? It has to be here. So this 4 eliminates 4 here. So that's a 1, which makes this a 4, which makes that 1, which makes that a 4. This 4 has to be... and it could be preyed upon. That's... But these could be preyed upon too. Okay. So I was missing the whole preying aspect of these things. Okay, so these can't be 8. Okay. So this is a sire here. That means this can't be sire here. And this must be the sire here, which makes this a 7. That means this can't be 7 here. Okay, none of these are preyed upon, because then that would decrease their value, and that's not a lot. We just don't have enough values there. Remaining digits in row 3 are 1, 2, 3, and 6. This can't be 1. This can't be 1, 2, or 3, so this is 6, which means this can't be 6. Where is the 6? Okay, this can't be 6 either. It's 2 and 3. This can't be 2 because of the 2 in the column. Right, any of these could be preyed upon by these two cells. And that was where I messed up. Okay, that makes sense. The 6 eliminates 6 here, so this is 9, which makes this 7, which makes this 4, which makes that 7. This 9 eliminates 9 in the rest of the cage. So this can't be 9. This is 6, this is 9. The remaining digit in column 8, 7 has to be 8. This adds up to 16. And this is guaranteed 16. So the remaining two digits must add up to 9. So the question is either this is 4 and this is 1 9. Okay, so this is 1 guaranteed. So the question is, what do these add up to? You have 7 and 9. Okay, this 1 eliminates 1 here. Where's the 1 in row 3? It must be here. So that's a 1. This is 1 4. This is guaranteed 16 here. So that means these two cells must add up to 9, right? 25 minus 16 is 9. Yes. If this is 1 and it's not a prey, this would okay, well this is 9 anyways. Because this is a 6 here. So this is 9, which makes that 6, which makes that 9. If this preys on this is going to have a 0.5 because 4 and 9 is odd. 13 divided by 2 is 6.5. You'll have a 0.5 there. So this cannot prey on this. Obviously, this doesn't work as a value because that's 16 plus 4 plus 1, which is 21. But the 9 can prey on the 1. So this is prey, which means this has a value now of 5. 5 plus 16 plus 4 is 25. So that works there. This can't be 7 or 9, so that's 6. Remaining digits in, in row 9 have to be 8 and 6. And this can't be 8 because of 8 in the column, so it's 6, which makes that 8. So that's all satisfied there. The drain could drain one of these. Okay, remaining digits in column 9 are 3 and 5. In column 8 are 2, 3, 5, and 9. So there's a guaranteed 9 in one of these. We have a guaranteed 4. Actually, that's not guaranteed 9. That could be drained by the 7. Or it could be sire. The sire could basically prey on that 9. Where is the 8 in row 1? It has to be here because there's no other 8 possible in that row. 8 can't be here because of 8 in the column. 8 can't be here because of 8 in the box. 8 can't be here because of 8 in the box. So this 8 eliminates 8 here, so that's 4. This 7 means this can't be 7. This is 9 to drain as a drainer, as the last drainer. This 4 eliminates 4 here, so that's 2 and 4. This 4 eliminates 4 here, so that's 8. These can't be 9. This can't be 7, so that's 6, which means this can't be 6 or 9. That's 7, so it can't be 7 here. This is a 6-9 pair. Okay, this 1 eliminates 1 here, so this is 3, which makes this 1. This 2 eliminates 2 here, so it's 3, which makes that 2. So this cannot be 2 here. Where is 2 in column 5? It must be here. That makes this a 7 as a remaining digit in column 6. 2 eliminates 2 here, so it's 3 and 2. This can't be 3. We have a 5. We don't know, actually. So 3 is one of these two. We don't know which, though. Okay, yeah, so we have to do the sire and the drainer stuff. The drainer still could drain here. Obviously, we still need a sire somewhere. If this is 5 and 9 as... Okay, so can this... Can it ever be 5 and 6 as the sire in prey? Possibly. That's 5.5 in value. Then you have 1 and 4, which is 2.5 in value. And 2.5 plus 5.5 is 8, as long as you drain that. So that works. Okay. Oh, can it ever not be a prey of the sire? And I think the answer to that is no, right? Say this sire drains based on something else. One of these values is going to go through, one of these three values is going to go through full. So say this preyed upon one of these, actually. You could still have the drainer here, but if it preys upon here, it can't be 1 and 6. It would have to be 1 and 9, but then this is never going to be preyed upon. So this cannot prey upon one of these two. If we prey upon here and this is 4, that's never going to work because you need a foreign value here, and that's never going to prey upon there with a valid value. So this must prey upon here. So this is preyed upon. That means it's 2.5. That means this has to prey upon here. Because otherwise there's no valuable possibility to have a 0.5 here. Right? We tried it with just 4, and that doesn't work. So this must be preyed upon here. Oops. So this is preying upon here. This must be a 0.5, so it has to be 6, right? So this is 2.5, this is 5.5, that adds up to 8. Therefore, this is 9, and it must be drained by this. That means this 6 eliminates 6 here, so this is 5. That must be 6 here. This can't be 5, it's 9. So this cannot be 9 here. This sire preys upon that to give that value. So these are all working. Okay, so none of these values are preyed upon. These two could be, but these cannot be now. This cannot be because it's not next to another vampire. Okay, so we need to have a value of 23. The 4 only have access. The 4 only has access to 3 and 5. So 3, 4, 5, and 9 at most. So this would be at maximum 5, 3, 4, 5, and 9. That's 21, which is too small. Therefore, this needs to access the cage to bump it up. Because just with the drainer itself, it can only max out to 21. So sire cannot prey on the 9 because that would decrease its value, so it must prey on this one. So this must be prey. And if it's 5, that's still too small, right? That would increase the 5 to a 6 in value. So you have 6, 4, and 9, and this would be 3. But that's too small in value. 4, obviously, draining at 9 wouldn't help, wouldn't add to the cage. So that doesn't work. So this must be a 3, and this must be a 5, and the 5 is being drained. Right? So the 3 jumps up to a 5 in value. 5 plus 5 is 10. 4 and 9 adds up to 23, and that works. So that's the relationships here. That means this can't be 5, that's 3, which forces this to be 5. Okay, yeah, so I had everything right. It's the problem was I wasn't thinking about specifically, I think it was here that I wasn't thinking that this could be specifically sire could prey upon this. And I was running into a contradiction. And my mind was, yeah, probably just not in the good place at that point. So that shows sometimes you just need to take a step away and then, come back at it later, because then you'll have a clearer mind and your mind won't be bogged down with all the information you had previously. So sometimes that actually is very helpful. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed these solves, and I'll see you next time on Frank Puzzles. Take care.